What is up, guys? Kevin Hale here. It's Round of Shots on this Monday night, not Sunday. Monday. It is Monday, though I typically do these on Sunday nights. So one day in on the week. Hope everyone is doing well and having a good day and hopefully a good week. Terry and his whiteboard backstage. It is Round of Shots. We're streaming on our Facebook and YouTube pages. We will be talking lots of football. Actually, it's probably only football tonight. Looking back at the Vandy game, previewing the Florida game, what happened in college football with weekend 4. Clearly, Colorado, Coach Prime was still the focal point of this past weekend. And we'll look ahead to some games that are happening with weekend 5. Final shots at the end. Doing it tonight, we've got our usual cast of characters, and we got someone making a debut. Here he is, Mr. Sunshine Pumper himself, Mr. Don't Worry, Be Happy, and his whiteboard. What's up, TB? Terry Brown.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here. Giving up Monday Night Football to be here, but you put the call in. I answered the bell, baby.
Well, as we get started and you all start talking, I'll start flipping channels, and you all can have something to look at over my shoulder. Also with us, making her return another week, Michele Brown. Three in a row. How are you, Michele?
I'm doing well, thank you very much.
Good to see you. Jay Hayes in the building. Jay.
Just pounding some water.
Pounding. Good to see you, bro. And making his debut tonight. This cat, no pun intended, or pun intended, one of my all-time favorite Kentucky players. And I'm not just saying that because he's here. Trevard, Lindley, Trey. Hey, Trevard, what's up, man?
Nothing much yourself.
Good. Getting some feedback. Somebody's ruffling their mic. Help me out there. All right, guys, let's, it's live, so shit happens. Let's go at it. Terry, I get to start with you before we let our real football player talk. The armchair quarterbacks get to talk too. Terry, start with you. Vandy was in town this past weekend. There was moments during the game that I'm texting you and Carrie during the game. I'm on the ledge, and you're talking me off the ledge. A quick start, but this game also featured some inconsistencies. A quarterback who arguably struggled. The O-line, the existence of a running game still to be determined. But stay high level before we go into detail.
And with all that,
for the record, I'm quoting Coach Stoops right there. He called out his quarterback.
I've seen coaches complain about Super Bowl victories and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of what coaches do.
Yeah, this is far from a Super Bowl.
Despite all that,
they
won a comfortable game on the road in the SEC. Yes, it's Vanderbilt, but if you're going to talk about the bad stuff, talk about the bounce back. It could have gone when Vandy went 3 and out, got that Kentucky to go 3 and out, starting the first half. It's like, that interception that was real close that, they weren't able to, they were limited to a field goal. It could have gone a different way.
And
it didn't. And they answered the bell. So that's my takeaway. If you talk about it got tight, talk about how it got untight. And it was a comfortable game at the end of the game.
21-0 hot start, Michele. And this is where I'll get to let you segue into what you said last week about a certain player who came up big.
Like I said, y'all were all rah-rah on Ray Davis, and you should, because he had been doing some really good things. I was the only one who said, Maxwell Hairston, this is the star in the making, because every week he gets just a little better and a little better. And what did he do yesterday?
or 2 days.
He showed y'all. Oh, well, yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
this is usually a Sunday show.
Yeah.
But he just wanted to let y'all know how smart I was. Anyway, one point that I think that seems to have gone like out of some fans' heads, and I'm not sure why, when they keep questioning the O line and what's going on there, or just any kind of inconsistencies anywhere. But Kenneth Horsey, I mean, that's a big loss that we had. And there's still no update on whether we'll see him against Florida or not. But you got to remember that was a big, consistent season performer. And you take him out, and yes, we've got depth enough that we can be adequate, but we're not going to be as strong as we were till he gets back. That's just my take.
Quick take. Trey, I'll go to you, and I'll let Jay back clean up tonight. Trey, high level, what was your summary from Saturday?
I think they did good, all in pretty much the whole game. Just say the O-line need to be more consistent on the blocking. And I guess receivers dropped a couple balls, which somewhat hurt us in the end, but I mean, we still got the W. So say more consistency throughout the whole game. And the defense looked good too.
That's a good word. Very good word. Jay, jump on. Go.
Well, I'd like to get credit for that Maxwell Harrison comment because
Would you do serve it up and she knocked it out of the park? Or what was it?
I threw the alley-oop. So the move was getting the jersey. Did that. 23 total tackles, 3 interceptions, 3 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, 1 tackle for loss, and 2 touchdowns. The kid is for real. Defense, I thought in the Vandy game was I thought they lost focus in the middle there. But how hard is it, and maybe Trevard can answer this, how hard is it playing someone like Vandy and you get a comfortable lead? Do you take a play off, or do you know, and it's still early in the season? I kind of felt like that as a fan looking in. The offense is inconsistent to me, but I will say we ran the ball a lot more. We hadn't seen 31 touches like that. You know, we've been around 20 in the first 3 games, but I think they're doing a lot. So I don't really know, you know, like Liam Cohen is doing a lot. So I don't know if it's really that or they're just missing missing blocks or what, but they're inconsistent, need to clean that up. And mental mistakes was the thing. 10 penalties. Like, you know, I think the Florida game, well, we'll get there, but yeah, that was my summation
High level. I forgot to give a shout out to our people in chat. There you go, Trey. Some people giving you the love. Michelle Morton, Ann, Maria, JD's in the house. What does this mean? JD's saying, do we need to roll the tape back, Jay? Elaborate. Is it probably something that Jay said that JD is not agreeing with? But Terry, back to you. Back to you. Jay touched on the fact that 31 touches for the running backs. McLean, solid game.
Yeah, there's a lot to build on, and I think what happens is the game ends, and we all think we're coaches, and start looking for the negative stuff, right? And that Stoops has to do that, right? He's got to get those guys ready to move on to Florida. We don't have to do that. I've asked this question: why are you a sports fan? Why do you watch sports? And if seeing your team win brings you no joy, then why are you doing this? Like, we could talk about the things need to improve. Obviously, I've been watching sports for 40 years. I've never seen my team, any of them, play a perfect game. I saw Magic Johnson turn the ball over, right? I saw Jerry Rice drop touchdown passes. It happens. So we're chasing this mythical perfect game, and we're not appreciating what we've seen. I see people post-game talking about this is what we need to clean up. I'm like, but Hairston ran 2 touchdowns back, first time in Kentucky history. Like, you know, and that's my wife. She's not a Kentucky fan, but we're watching the game, and there's all these, 21 points in the fourth quarter, so many plays, all these good Kentucky marks that the team's hitting, but that's bringing us no joy because it doesn't look good.
Well,
I'd rather have a win.
Whoever brought the word up, consistency, and that's actually Stoops' word too. It's not there yet, and it's getting better, Michele. Again, we touched on the rushing game, kind of was the, I don't know, was it the focal point, or there was definitely emphasis with the running game, and then it was good to see kind of Dane Key kind of really have a game, have a good
unlocked.
There you go. The key was unlocked. So Michele, yeah, go ahead. Any more good from Saturday?
Well, I think there was plenty of good because everybody was questioning whether or not we could win on the road. We did that. Check. People were questioning, but it's 11 a.m. local time game. Can they turn it on in the morning? Double check.
It almost looked like based on the crowd, it looked like almost a home game, but I digress.
Well, we don't. The way you can tell the difference, our scoreboard is not mounted with a crane.
True.
So, that could have been a dead giveaway, but that's for the astute observer and not necessarily Kevin Hale.
A lot of blue got in, is what I'm saying, though. Yeah.
Well, yeah. But like I said, all these factors that they said would be negatives turned out to be things we easily overcame. Our center performed much better. That was a concern of mine last week, so I felt much better at the center position.
Well, was there a swap?
Eli Cox.
Yeah, there was a
moved
change.
over. Yeah,
right. And like I said, to change positions, I mean that's.
And he played well.
And I said, I was concerned about the center position. I didn't call out names because I don't particularly like to throw people under the bus too much unless it's like,
It's not throwing them under the bus if it's facts, Michele. I mean, Burton was horrible at center for us, but go ahead.
But he did okay in another position. So, the switch was good, and I think we're going to be fine come Saturday.
Well, that's the plan, and that's what BBM wants. And it's blue-white Saturday. Before we get to that, though, what other things kind of stood out for you from a positive perspective from Saturday? Player positions, whatever.
I say defense to me still look good. And
Very.
Just talking about the bad plays and the good plays. I say the bad plays. I mean, the players know you made a bad play, and as a former player, the team that you're gonna play next, they're gonna see those same bad plays, and they're gonna try to exploit you on those. And hopefully, we can clean them up by Saturday and make some more plays.
Which, as a former player, a lot of that is doable as far as cleaning up.
Yeah.
You feeling good there?
Yeah, we're feeling very good.
Good. Jay, jump in. Final thoughts from Saturday.
I don't know if Burton is not good. Like, he's a really smart kid, so I don't know. It's still early to make that assumption, but I mean, the 3 games we had with Ball State, EKU, and Akron. I don't know, but Juton McClain was the better back in this game, although Ray Davis was the workhorse. I think Juton averaged 10.7 yards a carry. So, and I'm wondering, what's coming next with the running backs. We didn't see Ramon Jefferson running the ball. I mean, that's my guy. But other than the mental mistakes, I think, a win is a win. Like Terry said, we're 4-0. You clean up the mental mistakes, and people talk about those things looking forward. After you get the W, you're happy about that. But you talk about, especially as a fan, you're talking about, okay, this is what, a fan's going to say anything, but just the penalty cleanup, look, who has the less mistakes in the Florida game, I think is the victor.
Terry, we let's talk about the defense real quick. Another very solid outing for our D.
Yeah, I don't know how many pass attempts the Vanderbilt had. I don't know if you've got that, Jay. It seemed like an awful
20
lot.
of 47.
Like that, it just seemed like a lot.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, like, if you're playing a team that's going to pass a lot, you have to be on your game. That puts a lot of pressure on the defensive backs because, one miscommunication, you don't get your hips right, it's going to be a completion. I think that's what happened a little bit. But moving forward, I just think, and I'm going to piggyback on what Trevard was saying, like the mental mistakes, you can clean that up. We have seen Kentucky teams where it's like, I don't know if we have the dudes. I don't think we're at that point anymore. We've had dudes for a while now, right?
Yeah.
Now we just need to make sure we clean up those mental mistakes because going down to Florida, we've all seen teams go down to Florida and the talent gap is a mile wide at some point, right? It's not that anymore.
No.
And it becomes a situation like Jay says, where it's like you minimize those mistakes. You beat Florida for the third straight year and 4 out of 5 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Who we at? Michele, defense still feeling good?
Well, we held Vandy. Let me make sure I get this number right. A very low amount of rushing, I'll say that.
Under 100.
Under 100, 97.
I'm thinking it's under 80. Well, I thought it was like 80 something they
It
had.
was 27 carries for 97 yards.
Oh, okay. So that is, if I'm not mistaken, that makes, you have to go back to the bowl, but that's 5 consecutive games that our defense has held the opponent to under 100 yards rushing. That to me is a very important thing and something we need to key in on against Florida because this season rushing is their bread and butter and we have got to lock that down. But it seems like our defense, that's one of the more consistent things we've been doing. So there's your word, consistency. We've been consistently defending the run. And I like that. And I know it was just Vandy, but I saw fewer missed coverages. The defense just seemed a little cleaner. And I think we saw some new schemes. I'm not a real X's and O's master or anything, but it seemed like I was seeing new
Exactly.
It seemed like there was some new coverage or new schemes that they were using. So I'm thinking maybe we were right about our thinking that maybe we hadn't seen the whole playbook yet and they were saving things for conference play. And I think we're going to continue to see the playbook roll out both sides of the ball, some new things.
Well, it would only be fair to ask a former player who happened to be a defensive star for us to tell us about how the defense has been playing this season. Go for it.
I thought all in all they've been playing pretty good and pretty fast. So, I mean, for me personally, I would kind of hope the corners would press a little more just to get your hands on a receiver and disrupt the routes. But other than that, they still been playing good.
It's a great take, Trey. It's fair to say Brad White is kind of known for this bend, don't break defense.
Yeah.
But there's opportunity. Do you think that there's the talent's there to be a little more aggressive on defense? Don't you think? Or at least
I think it is. Unless it's just him or the players don't feel comfortable pressing, or he don't want them to press, maybe, or they do press might mess the whole scheme up. But
okay,
I would kind of wish they would press a little more, so the offense won't get them little short routes.
You heard it from our defensive guy, Jay.
Trevard wants somebody to hit somebody. and I'm with it.
Lay a lick on him.
But I think the defense is going to be special. I think maybe trying new things on both sides of the ball. We have seen these mental mistakes, maybe because of that. I don't know, but like I hear Van talk about, Brad White's defense is up the middle. Our run defense is beast mode. So I think that Trevard Etienne might not get off as he's been doing all year. You know, we got Ray Davis right behind him in yardage this year. So it's going to be interesting. But the defense has played, they've been consistent, and the offense has been inconsistent. So that's, you know, and that's from a fan. But like Trevard said, I'd like someone to hit someone. I'm with that also.
And defense travels though, right? Like, you know, it starts to get cold, it starts to get, and if you can play defense in the muck and the mire and all that kind of stuff, defense travels, man.
Yep.
It's not pretty.
That's fair.
Well, then the fans will start complaining about that because we're not playing pretty football, even if it's effective.
Right.
You know,
because there is no joy in Mudville, Terry. There is none.
This is what's going to happen. We're going to beat Florida on Saturday for the third time. And
well, Florida's having a down year.
I'm going to hear like I heard last year. Well, this ain't the same Florida. Well, look, man, excuse me for being excited for beating Florida. Like, why are you watching sports?
Right.
If that kind of stuff brings you no joy.
Joy, that's a good word. Real quick, some comments. Michelle Morton says the players didn't make me start drinking at noon. People on the Twitter machine did. Yeah, the mute button. Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. JD saying White plays so much zone and expects great eye discipline from his DBs. Sometimes I want to see some press. Yeah, that's insane.
He's going to give up that 5-10 yard pass. It's just Brad White's defense.
Yep.
You said it, Ben. Don't break.
Trevard, back in the day, did you? And forgive me if I don't know these stats, but were you like one of our leading tacklers like every season you played? That's to me, it's a very alarming stat for our secondary to lead the team in.
Crazily, I was second on the team in tackles my sophomore year.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but somehow I was.
Well, I have an idea how it happened. You know, the running kind of went through the first wall and then the second line, and all right, never mind. Wait, you were there before Stoops, right?
Yeah, I was Rich Brooks 06 through 09.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay.
Feel like a long time ago.
We appreciate you though. Okay, well, let's Vandy 4 games into the season, which technically, Terry, we are a third of the way through the season. Before we start talking about Florida, give me your grade. 4 games in.
4 games in. I give them a B. You know, as I said on this show, on other shows, give me a game where the second half I don't really have to focus in on, right? You don't want any big injuries. Give me a comfortable game in the second half, right? Because we kind of knew that for those first 4 games. To me, we passed it. Time to move on because now it's getting ready to, get a little bit tougher.
Yeah, this SEC stretch, the next 6 games? I mean,
6 games,
5 games.
5 ranked teams plus at Mississippi State. So,
it's one of the biggest, craziest stretches that I've seen or we've seen in a while, because Alabama is part of the schedules as well now too. 4 games in, Michelle, grade.
Well, I'm with Terry, and it's a B, and that's simply because of a lack of whiteboard, please. Whiteboard.
I erased it because I was waiting for the next word. I'm not being very consistent with the whiteboard.
There we go.
Give me the soundbite, Jack.
Lack of consistency. We have a whiteboard that sometimes functions, but there we go. He's already taken the word off.
What-
He's no
what I'm
longer
saying is-
consistent.
You're going to come around this way, right? I'm diagramming plays now.
Yeah.
There's your
Well-
X and O's, Michele.
There's the access in
Ah.
this way.
And I think our grade is higher than it would have been had we not had, and I've said this every week I've been on here, special teams. That has been such a bone of contention for Kentucky for so many years, and to have solid special teams. Although we found out today we have one injury, and that is our long snapper,
What was the injury?
Ronald Gaines. They don't know. They just said it was a non-contact, non-practice injury that is going to keep him out the rest of the year. And it was described as crazy and freakish.
He didn't hit a party.
I
He
was
had a
thinking
party.
he slipped on a bar of soap in the shower, and there you go. But they seem to think that they're okay with others in that position, and that's the other thing that makes Kentucky different than in years past. We've had a good amount of talent, and Jay, I know you were in a bit of a debate with somebody about that this was the most talented football team we've ever had, and somebody's
Roster on
going,
paper.
Yeah, and they were going, well, this player, this player, this player. Yeah, there was maybe some higher caliber players in some positions, but their backups, you went from here to there if they went out. And that's not the case now. And that's what makes us a stronger team. And I say the B is only going to go up.
I agree. It's the depth is changed tremendously during the Stoops era. Trey, what about you? 4 games in, grade the Cats.
I probably would be with Terry. Gives B. I don't think we put
said
4
B.
quarters together.
The Browns.
Can
B for
anybody be
Browns.
with me?
So I said if we can put all 4 quarters together in the game, we'll be good.
If
I
we
know,
put all 4 quarters
AKU
together, then I wouldn't have anything to bitch about, right?
Yeah.
Or
Well, then it would be
not
a
just
it would be a consistent game then.
It'd be a
Yeah.
consistent game then. Yeah. There would be what would be the talking points then? Yeah. So what'd we do? Wait a minute. He beat number 1 LSU. That's right. Trey, you were there for that LSU win.
Yeah. That was a
said, yeah.
good game.
Yeah.
That was a long game.
It's like, well, you're just now joining the party, Kevin. You're such a big fan. You should have known this.
I love that casual. Yeah. Just
I know.
beat,
It's
just
like,
beat number 1 LSU.
We just beat 32 back in the day was a bad man. Jay, what about you? Grade was
Well, everyone said C, so I mean B. So I'm gonna go C plus for the inconsistency. Only because some people say because of who we played. Yes, because of who we played. Now, is that from trying new things, doing new things on defense, trying new things on offense? Maybe. I'm just a fan, but my grade as a fan would be a C plus. I think the potential is A plus. I'm the one saying we beat Florida. I'm the one saying we go on the road and we smack Georgia too. I want all the smoke. So C plus thus far, only because everyone said B, and I just wanted to be different because I really think it's a B plus. So there. And I also want them to hit people. So there's that.
there is that. Okay, let's switch gears. Terry, Florida is it is a home game, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Florida is in town Saturday noon kickoff. It is blue white day. Terry, how you feeling about the Gator meat coming in Saturday?
To quote the great Snoop Dogg, I'm ready to put on my now and later Gators and enjoy
give us that Snoop Dogg move too. Come on,
beat Florida, man. Like I'm with Jay. It's to the point now where it's like, okay, we have improved as a program. I'm tired of hearing about losing streaks and this and that and the other. Beat Florida. You know, I've been saying that, you know, you look at the SEC East, there's Georgia, and there's argument it should be Kentucky, number 2 in the East.
That is it. Huh?
And well, I mean, take care of, look, we've done Missouri, Vandy, South Carolina, 8 of 10, whatever it is, but take care of Florida and Tennessee, and you're number 2. And I think that's a good spot to be in because that puts you in striking distance of number 1. So to do that, you take care of the Gators. I say Cats by 10, baby.
They are what, three favored by 3 as of now. Michele, what say you about Saturday?
Well, first of all, we've already proved that we can win an early game. So players, and I also think knowing that they're going to be facing Florida, the players won't admit it, but we all know they're going to be a little bit more hyper focused. They recognize this as a quote unquote big game, and they want to perform for a big game. And they did make it to ESPN. They didn't make it to a 4:00 slot, but they did make it to ESPN. So that's another, that's definitely a higher tier than being on SEC Network. No offense to SEC Network. And one last thing, I think that the Cats are going to perform way better the blue-white shirt scheme because they never get it right, even though you draw them a diagram. If you sit here, wear blue. If you sit here, wear white. They'll screw that up, and we already know this in advance. But I say it's going to be the Cats. I'm going to say by 13 just because I feel like throwing some smoke out there for Mr. Hayes.
There you go.
That's good. Trey, what you got for me with Florida?
I say if we come out and don't make as many mistakes as usual, and O-line come to play and get some blocks, say we'll be in there. And the defense keep playing like we've been playing, get some takeovers and make tackles. We'll win the game.
Win by what you got? What's that spread for you?
Go 10.
That's fair. Jay, what you got?
Oh, we smacking the hell out of Florida. Well, I mean, like I'm saying it with my chest too. We're gonna smack the shit out of Florida. Gator boots and pimped out Gucci suits.
But now and later, the Gators are home, baby.
Yeah, we have 3 receivers in the SEC top 20 for receptions. Florida has 1 who just caught the spectacular one-handed grab. I don't know if y'all saw that, but it was amazing. But they have a great running game. We do too. Right under Ray Davis is right under Trevor Etienne. So I think it is whoever comes down with the least mental mistakes wins this game. And I'm going to say, I'm going to say, Michele took mine. 13 was mine. So I'm going to say 20. We smacked the shit out of Gators.
20.
Let's go for it. Why not? Hey, why not Kentucky?
Why not us?
Right.
All right. The whole panel.
Well, you didn't tell me to reserve 13 for your prediction.
I know. I was hoping I would go before you, but
yeah.
Well, I'm usually last. Kevin usually makes me go last every week, so I'm shocked.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. I was hoping I would go before you.
It's because I'd give Carrie her shot first. All right. Well, in the chat, what y'all got? What's the outcome for Saturday, the Florida game? Michele Morton is
clearly
saying
Michelle
by
stick
13.
together.
Yeah, that's Michele
Yeah.
thing. What else y'all got? Give me your prediction for the game. What we got? Let's look. College football weekend 4. Man, this was a as a college football fan, it was a very fun weekend. A lot of really good games. Terry, it was highlighted by the Colorado Oregon game. And I'll say right now, Oregon, man, they are fucking legit. But say what you will about Colorado going into the game. It was Vegas knew it was going to be basically a blowout. It was favored by 21. What was your take with that game and any other game that stood out for you?
Well, that game went how we thought it was going to go. For all the hype that Deion brings, you have to understand that roster is not ready to compete prime time. I mean, I think they're ahead of schedule, getting to the 3 wins, but yeah, there's going to be a gap there, right? All I'm saying,
stay right there. The whole narrative, some of the falling out after that game, you saw people, Deion Prime got what he deserved, Colorado got what he deserved, but why is it? Because there's this notion that Coach Sanders jumped the line. We don't like confident people, and we don't like it that people skip the line, right? A lot of these coaches started off student assistants and film people, and they put in the work, right? And Deion kind of walked into it. But my whole thing was, do you think that Peyton Manning, if he wanted to coach, was going to be a graduate assistant? No.
Like, did you see what Fox gave Tom Brady before we even knew really what he sounded like talking? What they were giving him to call games. Like, this happens, right? These special people get special privileges, and it rubs people the wrong way. And I think that's what happened with the whole Deion thing. It's just humorous to see these college football coaches taking their shots. Like I texted you, I didn't know who Oregon's coach was until Saturday game day.
You said that, and I had admitted I didn't know who he was until a week before. Because of the Colorado game coming.
But as an Oregon coach, you got to be living in a different world. If you're going to say with your whole chest, they're out here for clicks, and y'all got 155 different uniform combinations. Phil Knight is showing up, spending Nike money, and y'all talking about y'all trying to be like the plucky underdogs with your shoes that change color when the people's feet get hot. That's what y'all saying? Oh, okay. Cool. Y'all the plucky underdogs, right? I mean, and people are like, yeah, he's right. I'm like, are you for real? Like, what are we doing here? But anyway, I'm a Deion fan. It is what it is. The thing is, I don't think Deion's going to be recruiting at the high school level, but that transfer portal, he's going to be like Michael Jackson video where he's going through that story. He's like, I'll have one of these. I'll have a defensive back. Yeah. He's going to be bringing some dudes in through the transfer portal. So yeah, the talent's going to change.
Let's stay with the whole Colorado thing, Michele. What was your take from Saturday's Colorado Oregon game?
Well, as I recall, when Deion was in the NFL, there was a lot of people that didn't like him there. They didn't like the flash, the chains, the music, the entourage. They just, he was too extra for a lot of people. But the fact of the matter was, he went on the field and he backed it up. There was a reason he had all of that, and he did it with performance. He did it in Atlanta, and then he did it in San Francisco, and then he did it in Dallas, much to Terry's chagrin. But it was kind of natural that was going to follow him to the college thing. There's always been people that have hated on Deion for whatever reason. They've never gotten to know Deion the person, who is actually a pretty, outward appearances aside, he's actually a pretty, I don't want to say humble, but level-headed guy, I think. And he also knows how to bring attention. If he wanted to get attention, publicity for his program, he knew how to do that too.
Absolutely.
And we're not going a week without talking about Colorado. So in terms of any fallout from Saturday's game, I think Oregon's coach looks like a douche, and Deion's going to keep plugging on.
Does he though? Does he? Why does he look like a douche?
Well, like I said, the whole thing about the whole clicks versus wins thing. I mean, because I was going to bring that point up, but Terry covered that nicely. I mean, you're out here doing. I don't have to repeat what Terry said. That's how he came off being a little douchey to me, but.
And only one of those teams actually has a national championship in its trophy case.
And it's not Oregon.
So that program has been a lot of style with very little substance. If we're being honest.
Plus you got to play in Colorado where you don't have near as much oxygen. So, kudos to them.
Trey, the Colorado game, Colorado, Oregon, what was your take?
I guess for me, I knew going in Colorado was going to lose because I don't think they had the depth, and their O-line and D-line is not as big. Well, definitely their O-line is not as strong as a lot of teams. They're still a little small, so and plus they've been getting up a lot of sacks over the last couple games too. So playing Oregon, if I was just Oregon defense, I would just blitz them like they've been doing and just get sacks. So, but yeah, I'm a Deion fan. He was my favorite player growing up, man. That's one of why I played corner. So
was he one of the reasons why you did?
So what?
Was he one of the reasons why you did play corner?
Yeah, it was a big reason.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I got a Colorado hoodie upstairs in the closet.
Oh, you all in, man. Okay.
All in, baby.
All right, Jay, what you got for the
Cinderella story is over, man. Right? They're fighting for clicks, we're fighting for wins. There's a difference. Right? There's a difference. Right? This game ain't gonna be played in Hollywood, it's gonna be played on the grass.
Where's the lie?
I don't think so. And plus, again, he's addressing his team. He didn't. He didn't do that in front of a.
This the thing too. Deion gives out smoke, so you got to be able to take that back. And Deion has gracefully,
let's let Jay talk,
which makes people like him even more. So it just shows how he didn't react to that statement. Shows Deion didn't react to that because he could have went somewhere with it, and he didn't. Instead, he gets a call. And I do think this game could have been, I think they still would have lost, but I think it would have been a little different with Travis Hunter in the game. And there was a clip afterwards, after all this, Travis Hunter, Deion read the text, what I'm saying, I'm playing. And he was like, no, you can't. That just goes to show you what kind of person Deion is. Players first. Yep. Makes you like them even more. I've always been a Deion fan, but this is the thing with that. You hand out, you got to be able to take it, and Deion has.
Fair. I think it's fair.
And I'm not saying that it was wrong or anything like that. There was no lie. All I'm saying is, Oregon, you're not some plucky underdogs talking about style and flash and all this kind of stuff. That's my only gripe. Like,
yeah,
they Knight on the sidelines. What are y'all talking about?
They wasn't the underdog, but kudos to the coach for making them play like they were.
Oh yeah,
that was the whole point of the fire up.
Yeah, I would say that was a nice pregame speech, though.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, I say any coach would just said what he would have said if they were playing Colorado to get his team up. So I can't really be mad at him for that.
Right, and how Deion responded is just top notch. So people are going to see
in stride.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, because Deion is that guy. He knows he hands out the smoke. He can take the smoke. It ain't nothing to him.
I'm not mad, and I'm not saying that anything he said wasn't true. I just, to some of Terry's points, Colorado does have the championship trophy. Oregon doesn't.
But what does that mean? That don't mean
he
nothing.
won one with Georgia and
we're
Alabama.
Talking 2023, 24
season. Hey, Oregon's supposed to be all that. Where's their trophy? Well, maybe that's not one, and we can't see it for the blinding neon green and all their ugly courts and floors. But that's another discussion for another time.
Yeah, JD is saying here, Deion is great for his players. I love the way he interacts with his players and always lifting them up. Oh, Deion's great. And the one thing I always remembered, because I was back in the day, I was a huge Cowboys fan, and that Cowboys 49ers rivalry, Terry, back in the day was just amazing. Well, I stopped being a Cowboys fan when Jerry just kind of Jerry Jones kind of messed things up with the coaching staff. But
It
the one thing
wasn't
I
he
always
messed him up. It's that he just got lucky back in the 90s with them.
well, he let his ego get in the way. You
Duh.
let Jimmy Johnson go. But anyways, the one thing I always loved Terry Brown about Dion is that he had the cleanest jersey after the game because he didn't have to tackle people. He was cerebral. I mean, he's just
One of my favorite Dion stories is when he came over from Atlanta to San Francisco. And that 94 season, 49ers, they were loaded for bear, right?
Yeah.
And my wife is now becoming a 49ers fan. And I'm trying to tell her way back in the day, that team really didn't have any personality. I'm a Jerry Rice fan, but he got personality after he retired. Joe Montana, no personality. And so they were so businesslike. And then Dion shows up, and there's a clip on the NFL films where they were talking about having a curfew Super Bowl week. And Dion was basically like, y'all have fun with that curfew. Prime time is at the Super Bowl. And it's just that dichotomy of Jerry being very businesslike and Dion being Dion. You know, that was great.
Jay, what's can you wait a minute. Can you read this one out loud, Jay, from Michelle Morton?
Jay been hanging with Snoop Dogg again.
Burn, baby.
Hey, I put the smoke in the air.
The air.
Smoking this one stuff called Train Wreck right now. Boy.
Light it
Oh,
up.
boy.
What was it? Light it up. Take a puff. Pass it.
That's
What's
right.
That song, you know,
Better than bourbon.
Yeah,
Better than bourbon.
Right. What else? Tara, I'll circle back to you from the weekend. Can I? That crazy contract that the Iowa offensive coordinator has.
Yes.
Trevard, do you know what we're talking about? The contract stipulation or that the Iowa offensive coordinator has in place.
If Iowa doesn't score, I think it's 310 points this season.
Basically,
And
they have to average how much a game?
25 points per game. And if they don't, he's gone. Basically, the OC is Brian Ferentz, Kirk Ferentz's son.
Right.
And the Iowa offense has been terrible. And they got shut out on Saturday. So they're now way behind.
He had a surplus. Didn't he have a surplus heading into that game? Maybe?
Yeah, because they scored at like 30 something. So they were ahead, but now they're behind. And so it doesn't get any easier as they move forward in the season because I think they've got like Michigan or somebody coming up.
Yeah, they're not scoring. I don't see them scoring that many on Michigan.
No, because they went to Penn State, got shut out. Penn State didn't even let them have any sympathy touchdowns or anything at the end. So it's going to be tough to catch up. Although they don't play.
Do you know
Ohio
why
State
he made that contract?
Well, because it was basically like your son needs to go. The Iowa's offense has been terrible for
baseball scores from the Iowa.
Trevard. I went to a game last year. It was Iowa versus North Dakota or South Dakota, one of the Dakotas. Iowa won 7-3, and it was 2 safeties and a field goal. And
again, 7-3, not a touchdown.
Without a touchdown. And for the longest time, it was 5-3. And I'm like, what am I watching? Like the defense is solid, but the offense is just terrible. So part of it was like, yeah, you can keep your son coaching, but he's got to hit these point marks, and they're not going to get there, I don't think.
Yeah.
Not with the shutout. No.
Jeez. Michelle, what else stood out for you from this past weekend?
Well, this was we get a couple of these throughout the season, but this was almost a chalk weekend. The ranked teams did what they were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. The underdogs did what they were supposed to do, which is lose. It was, I don't want to call it a boring weekend of college football, but it was not anything that had me on the edge of my seat. I'll just say that. It was just people did what they were supposed to do. Move on to next week.
I think it was an opportunity, Trey, where Ole Miss had a chance to, get a win against an Alabama team that's still trying to find its identity, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. That's what they got rolling second half against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So,
well, what else stood out for you this past weekend, Trey? Any games out there that just...
that's pretty much about it. I don't think I didn't watch that many football games.
You didn't?
Last week.
Okay, that's fair. Jay?
You know I got a sound bite.
Notre Dame is a better football team than Ohio State. And you look at Coach Day, and everybody that beats him does so because they're more physical than Ohio State. And I think Notre Dame will take that same approach. You take his message to Ohio State. You tell them they better bring their lunch because it's going to be a
Now
full
listen to
damn
Brian
day's
Day.
work. Notre
After.
Dame wins by 10.
Do you have that
By 10.
clip?
Come
Like,
on.
I'd like to know where Lou Holtz is right now. What he said about our team, I cannot believe. This is a tough team right here. We're proud to be from Ohio, and it's always been Ohio against the world, and it'll continue to be Ohio against the world. But I'll tell you what, I love those kids, and we got a tough team.
We got a tough team. We got a tough team. Hey, Dave was ready to fight 86-year-old Lou Holtz. That's what stood out to me. Like, and that was a pretty decent game. But I'm with Michele. Like, I watched several games, and they were all kind of just, there were a couple spectacular plays, like the one in the Florida game that was super catch. But they were all just kind of,
Meh.
but it was more exciting than it has been. I also think Milroe should be the quarterback. I don't know if he fits the title of quarterback yet, but he is a dog. He is a athlete, and I don't know what happened while they let the other two quarterbacks, Nick Saban let the other two quarterbacks play last week, but he got it done. It was kind of boring, like Trevard said, but it got going in the second half. But overall, it was just kind of you had the Oregon thing, and then you had the Ohio State Day and Lou Holtz beef. But that was about it. And then Swifty Nation with Travis Kelce. That that was pretty cool.
Don't make me edit out that part. This part of it. What about the Pac-12 or whatever? Back to Pac-2. How many whatever teams? I'll tell you what. Washington's legit. Oregon is legit.
They might be the best conference in college football.
I tell you who's not the best conference right now is the SEC. They're not the best conference. This conference has struggled. It's not where it's not at elite level. It usually is.
This is where I say 12-0 for Kentucky.
The opportunity is there. I don't know if we can get past Georgia, but
one game at a time, and Florida's up next.
Game.
And let's
we're not talking about anybody else but Florida. Okay. See anything else this coming weekend? What's going on? What games are we got going on this coming weekend?
Yeah, so you need to have this already.
I should have it already.
You got Georgia and Auburn.
Mm-hmm. Why do I need to when I got Michele? Go ahead.
Facts.
Hey, real quick.
LSU and Mississippi.
Oh, that'd be a good game.
Just saying it, and this is I didn't know this until Corey Price put it out there. It's the first time ever that Louisville and Kentucky start the season 4-0. Just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Just
let me mention too real quick. He also put a stat out there that Kentucky is like 0-11 playing Florida
at noon
on noon games.
Well,
so hopefully hopefully that gets turned around. So
and meanwhile, you have Tennessee and South Carolina that got the 7:30 kickoff time. Who cares about that game?
Well,
Spencer Rattler, he was trying to throw a
orange bias.
ESPN.
My orange bias maybe ESPN doesn't. Have you looked at their football power index rankings?
No,
Their algorithm is very, very, very broken. I would just say that. Go check it out, and you'll. I mean, it's so confusing. People aren't even mad; they're just going around going, "Huh?"
Actually, it's
Yeah.
yeah, it is.
Just-
Yes. No, it's
just
on.
don't
It's
look.
on SEC Network. I don't care. All right, never mind. We got. Okay. What'd you say? You got a whiteboard thing going? I'm looking in your. What's up with the with basketball blue bloods being undefeated, Terry?
Yeah,
With Kansas,
I saw a
Duke,
thing about basketball blue bloods,
Kentucky?
and they had Syracuse
Well,
on there, and I'm
Syracuse,
like,
yeah,
come
now
on,
let's
man.
get. But what is it? Kansas, Kentucky, Duke,
North Carolina and Duke.
and isn't UCLA undefeated too? Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
but
Yeah, they
okay.
are.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Duke is actually I've
you
seen
can
a couple of
do
their
you
games.
can
They're
do
pretty
more
solid.
than one thing.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But I don't like it when Duke does. So I can be honest about that.
You can be honest. Notre Dame and Duke. That's the ABC game Saturday night. Should be a good one. What we got?
Man, making me have to cheer for the Irish. That's kind of like, ugh.
I got to cheer for them against Duke. I got to cheer for them against Louisville.
I know it's
Rudy,
just
Rudy, Rudy.
All right, guys.
it might be time for the final shots there.
It
Kevin.
is nice little segue to the final shots. All right, final shot of the night for everyone. Let me see if there's a email that I've totally missed. Kentucky, though, I don't know. 4 weeks into the season, Terry, this is where I will start to pay attention to rankings.
Mhm.
Kentucky AP has them at by votes 27.
Mhm.
Buying, selling at right now.
That's fine. You know, at this point, once it gets to October, that's when you start separating teams, and so I got no problem being on the outside looking in.
I'm with you. Everybody else.
I like it because you can see all the teams that are ranked in the 25 that Kentucky's going to beat.
My
I like
man.
that.
You got them winning them all.
Yeah.
Are you really staying with that 12-0? Is that the
Hell
fan or the head talking right now?
That's the
Jay?
fan. What am I supposed to do? Pick a loss?
Because
Hell no.
why are you a
Loss
fan?
can't come out
Why
of
are
my mouth, man.
Right.
No,
Why are you
hold
a
on.
fan?
No. See, this is where there is a you can. All right, let's do it this way. If from now on, when I ask you to pick, this is what I'm going to ask you to do: is if you got $1,000 on the game, pick straight up. Do it that way. I don't need.
Well, if I got money to bet $1,000 on a game, hell yeah.
Okay, 100 or 20.
But here's the thing, though, Kevin. Here's the thing. In years
It's
past,
not bad karma to pick us to lose.
With Kentucky football is if we were going to beat Georgia, a top-ranked Georgia team, you'd have to get a whole whiteboard full of things that would have to go right.
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 Do you have a bigger whiteboard?
Right. If we were going to beat Florida, you'd have to have a whole lot of things. And what we all kind of agreed on is just don't make mistakes.
Yep.
There's not a big leap.
We
that
have
you have
the
to
talent.
make to say we can beat Florida.
Yep.
Do I see a way we can beat Georgia? I do.
Yep.
Do I see a way we can beat Alabama? Yeah. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Anything's possible.
Thank you, Kevin Garnett. All right. My final shot.
Bring it.
Jay kind of alluded to this earlier with his sound bites, but I don't know if you saw this one, Jay. Head coach Jake Dickert of Washington State University jumped all over Lee Corso for a comment he made on College Game Day about Washington State playing a game, nobody really cares about. And, my whole thing is give me coaches with fire. I've talked about it before. I miss the Steve Spurriers. I miss the coaches that had personalities. All these coaches now, they don't say anything. They don't give you anything. I like it. I like it when a coach says something. When Stoops was at that luncheon in Louisville, and he's like, "Oh, the Governor's Cup trophy is here." I'm surprised it's in Jefferson County.
Right,
Give it to
right.
me. Put it in my veins.
Right.
Put that in my veins. Because as we talked about, especially against a rival, talk about it.
Yep.
You know, Ryan Day, pick a fight with Lou Holtz. I love it. You know, and as crazy as
Passion.
the Oregon coach was, get your team fired up. Stop
He's
being
defending the program too. Yeah.
Just don't give me this, you know, college football is supposed to be fun. The NFL is supposed to be, you know, on to the next game. No, man. Like, yeah, I want to embarrass the other team. We're winning. They're about clicks. Give me all these coaches and their WWE style promos. That's my final shot.
Thank you. Michele, what you got?
Well, this one's sort of sports related. Well, from my end, it's sports related, but it's not really sports related. And that is automakers are trying to phase out including AM radio in new vehicles. And this has been enough of a concern because there actually is a bill in Congress that's being introduced to make them not do that they should have to include AM radio. And I say sports related because growing up in the sticks, AM radio was my lifeline to sports. That's how I could hear the Cincinnati Reds. That's how I could hear Kaywood calling all the games. That's how I got to know and love my Cats, was AM radio. So there's also, I think, maybe a concern that in certain disaster situations, AM stations can carry on, whereas FM and all your streaming services may be interrupted. So if you don't want to see the death of AM radio, why would you want to? Because it's just one of the few nostalgic things we have left. Contact your congressman, make sure they're behind the bill to make it continue.
Yeah, sometimes I just don't want to hear shit in stereo. Yeah.
But sometimes I just want to hear stuff I couldn't hear I don't want to have to pay for a streaming service. And I always don't have Wi-Fi.
I actually
What can
didn't
I say?
hear that. So that's legit. They're putting that to get rid of. Is it why? Is it just because of? What is the reason for it?
I think there's that because there's less audience, because everybody's using streaming services, because
Okay.
everybody can pick their own, their own playlist, and they don't have to. I guess commercials come into play there, obviously, but
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
I should say, don't let it die.
Don't no. All right, Trey. Final shot. I want to, as he makes his final shot debut here on Round of Shots. What you got?
I say my final shot is sports related. Get to the
Okay.
tailgate early, like Stoop said, early and pound beers.
And
cheer on a cat.
He kind of added to that. He mention something about, he is a bourbon guy. Doesn't he have something? Does he own?
RD
no
Warner.
seltzers, just cold beer, bourbon.
Bourbon, yeah. That was a great line by Stu.
Well, don't you think, though, given the tragedy from a few years ago when the 4-year-old was struck by a drunk driver right there, I'm expecting some group somewhere to give him some backlash about that. I just think that's going to happen sometime this week.
Yeah, somebody may, but you know his.
I mean, I know that I know exactly where his heart was, but you're going to there's always a Karen in every room, and someone's going to bring that up and they're going to give him crap over it. That's just my prediction for the week.
Okay. Pound the beers. What you got, Jay, for your final shot?
Of course, great minds think alike.
I have great confidence in the people of Kentucky that can get up very early and pound some beers.
Great minds do think alike. And of course, I just want to say, I'm a fan. So when you ask me, oh, can you beat Georgia? I'm going to tell you, hell yeah. And if you don't believe me, ask Trevard about beating a number one.
Yeah.
It can happen.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've seen it happen.
I'm with you.
So I want all the smoke. Pound some beers.
Pound some beers.
Drink responsibly.
But drink responsibly.
Yeah, do that.
But do it with consistency.
And consistency. What else?
Facts.
Drink.
I got to write pound beers on the whiteboard. I'll get that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I had to get one more consistency in. It's the word of the week.
Appreciate it. tonight, impromptu Monday show. And thanks guys for accommodating me for tonight. We'll be back Sunday for it. Trey, thanks so much for making your debut. And as far as I'm concerned, you got a spot here anytime you want it, brother.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right. Terry, yeah,
He's
Terry.
like,
I
shit, you
just want to
said
say he's a
10.
man
It's
of few words.
10:07.
He is, yeah. He is a man. Yeah. One
That's
of us.
because Trey talked so much. That's what happened.
He is, yeah. But it was, his points were spot on.
They
Absolutely.
were.
All right. Thanks so much for everyone in the chat hanging out. Good to see you all. Everyone have a good week. Terry, Michelle, Trey, Jay, thanks for tonight. Go Cats. We're going to kick the Gators' ass Saturday.
And
we'll
go
be back.
Krogering.
And go Krogering. Consistency. Hashtag consistency.
Hashtag consistency. There we go.
Peace
Good
out,
night,
guys.
everybody.
Take care. Thanks so much.